Hey, what you about to see is spit. Fire from the deepest thought. Mind stimuli, wrought with the sweetest sound to caress the air. Brilliancy to bring what is blurry clear. Unhindered by selling points. Delving into the emotions that be. With these here stellar joints, see, we poets. Teller of the final times. Architect of these new rhyme designs. Manipulator of the unchallenged minds.
How did I become a deaf poet? I was asked.
I heard about it through the grapevine.
My whole sole goal was like, okay, I'm gonna get on a Def Poetry Jam.
I hooked up with Russell Simmons.
We came and he, sat in the front row and I spat all over him.
He saw me and I guess he liked what he saw.
This is poetry, this is a piece of art. And yet I think that there's a chance to develop careers like we did in comedy. A chance to expose a piece of culture that's not being exposed properly, and a chance to inspire artists to write more important, meaningful lyrics. When Black Ice came along, he said something that was special. I saw him at a Def Poetry Slam, and it was instant when we saw him. The next day I signed him.
On corner auction blocks, lost flocks of brethren, now invested in by this America with stocks of cocaine. Temporary monetary gain in exchange for eternal pain.
Why Black Ice?
Black ice, well, the weather term, of course, is, when the ground looks wet, but it's actually frozen, but you don't find out about it until you slip up on it. So basically, when I stepped on the scene back 93, 94, because I dress the way I do, and, spoken word, the scene had a certain look and a feel to it. And when I came into the scene, it was like I had a mainstream look, so they didn't know what to expect out of me. And I guess my name it symbolizes that when I get on stage, you really don't know what I'm gonna do. I may show up with camouflage on and do all love poetry. Back in 93, 94, Buttermilk, it was one of the most popular sets down in Philly. So I went down there and I just fell in love, with just the free expression and the camaraderie and the peacefulness of the whole set. And I didn't really, they really pushed me to get on stage. I went home and it inspired me to get back into my writing.
Knowing that father does not answer when they holler due to his undying infatuation with a dollar. Has been street scholar, now sees his toddlers through glass. And as the years pass, they grow fast and begin to understand, damn, Dad didn't have to go away from us because he didn't love us, just that he wasn't no real fucking man.
They're free thinkers, first of all. They're artists, and mostly artists are made to shut up.
I am the serpent or a thief. I am the combined deepness of all the great deeps before me.
Please don't Barbara Walters me. Okay. If I cry, just let it be because I'm crying, not because you induced crying. Just be friends. Okay?
Bro,
I'm not trying to touch you too much. I know. I'm not. No, I'm not.
Just talk to me, man. Talk to me, please. Now, how long you been doing poetry?
Since I was 15.
Really? I know that being an African American has influenced my poetry. So
it's one of those. Huh?
It's one of those.
Yeah.
How has being Asian American influenced your poetry?
Wow, that's.
Or being from Oklahoma?
Tough. A lot of my influences, writing-wise, has been non-Asian writers. I mean, they don't teach Asian American writers in school. They just don't. We went to New York, changed everything. I mean, you see Asian faces, you meet Asian writers, Asian dancers, Asian artists, Asian hip-hop stars. I mean, what the fuck? Asian hip-hop stars?
It's deep, right?
Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? My poems kind of became more, not like stories, but more like focused. They had like arcs. Do you know what I mean? Like, instead of just like, like just all throwing it out there, it just sort of like suddenly took on a form where it moved, it breathed, it lived. Do you know what I mean? Like it had dimensions. All of a sudden, it's like it grew, and then it like released, and then it like came back at you again, like pow.
Where do you get all these cool clothes from, man? This powder blue jacket and this love bracelet.
Compliment me.
And the Weibo belt.
The what belt?
The Weibo belt. That's the 80s thing, man. It's the 80s
thrift store.
Yeah?
Yeah, I get all my clothes at the thrift store.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty much. Or they're given to me. Yeah. But I don't get the kind of hookups you do. I'm sorry.
Oh, whatever.
That farm's not calling me, you know.
They're not calling me neither.
The key to deaf poetry is writing poetry that is truth as you see it. What we're seeing and feeling on the show are poems that generate from people's lives and loves and passions. Deaf poetry is poetry that moves you.
So let me explain something. In the beginning was the Word, you and I verse, made atoms. Atoms split, made molecules, refusing to be unprogressed, uninspired, unmoved. I mean, hieroglyphics to graph, blending language with math, science and sound, poetry, consciousness abound. Now, who can deny this power of the Word? For in the beginning was the Word. Beowulf, the Black Power. Beatnik to Nas. Who can deny the freedom of spit when it's right there in front of your eyes? Deaf poets doing deaf things.